Good day, everyone. Welcome back to the Doc of Detox show. So this show today is called, Do You Deserve to Heal? Now, a lot of you are going, well, of course I do. But understand something. When you say that, okay, and you jump like that and you say it that quick, that would be your conscious mind, which is 10% of your brain. 90% of your brain is your subconscious mind. And guess what? You may not believe this, but you're only present for 5% of your day in your conscious mind, where you're actually creating new thought, okay? Or totally in the present, okay? Most of the time, we're either in the past or in the future. We got to get there, or we didn't like that we were there, something like that, okay? So understand something. That's the way it is for most people. When I say, do you deserve to heal? If you really sat down with it and you think about it, I want you to think about this as we go along here today. Okay, first of all, there's different types of people. Okay, I didn't believe that I deserved to heal when I was being raised. God loved my father, God loved my mother, but I believed, because I had sinner syndrome, I believed that I was unworthy. I don't even know why God even created me, because I was such a bad kid. I mean, everybody called me the wild one. I was always in trouble. Okay, and then to only find out later in life that, guess what? I wasn't in trouble because I was a bad kid. I was in trouble because, guess what? I fought to keep my spirit, okay? And that's the big deal right there. I fought to keep my spirit. Look at, God loved my parents, but understand something. There was nothing wrong with me. I wasn't broken. I came to a world that is a fun-filled, life-threatening adventure that by the time you're 7 years old, you've totally lost and washed out your spirit. So by the time I was 7 years old, I didn't believe that I even deserved to heal. I didn't even know why I was even created. And hey, listen, if you go, you can't relate to me, fine, but I don't believe that. I know that most people out there can relate to this. Now, I'm not telling you I didn't have fun. I'm not telling you I don't love my parents when I was being raised. I'm not telling you I didn't love my life, but in the deep, dark recesses of my quiet time, okay, I felt unworthy. I felt unloved, okay? I felt like there was something wrong with me, okay? So, I want you to think about that, what I just said. Let's get on to a little lighter topic right now. If anybody hasn't been able to watch the show and you want to pass it on to someone else, please tell them to go to docofdetoxshow.com to watch all our shows, or they can go to YouTube at Doc of Detox and they can watch it in any different language they want, subtitled, all right? Or they can catch it here like it's on Facebook Live right now, okay? All right, so I want to go through a couple of things before we get started. Toronto Total Health Shows coming up. I'm going to be doing 3 TV shows on that channel. We'll be putting them on Facebook to let everybody know when they're going to be. I'm also doing 7 lectures in 2 days. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. And we're going to be also doing a lecture with Jay Lee about calcium. And tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., I'm with Dr. Tony Jimenez, and we're doing the Truth About Cancer show. All right, we're going to be talking about the Asian tour. We're going to give everybody a glimpse, and Dr. Tony Jimenez, he did this 7-day tour with Ty Bollinger, and we're going to go through and talk about the different natural cancer cures that they found while traveling through Asia, which is going to be a 7-part series. So go to Facebook, take a look at my 1-minute video, and sign up for that. It's free, okay? All right? The New World Practitioner Training is tomorrow for those practitioners that are watching. It's at 3 p.m. And the Science of Ionic Calcium will be my next Doc of Detox show on April the 17th. All right? And then we'll be doing a Q&A on that, because this is going to be a scientific, documented proof that ionic calcium is the biggest breakthrough in nutritional science in the last 75 years. And then we'll do a Q&A on April the 19th. I'm doing the blue light 5G toxicity on May the 15th. It's a special, and you're not going to want to miss this. I'm going to show you how 5G and blue light is going to bring anybody down that is older, or anyone that has ill health, or anyone that feels like they're a victim. Well, this is going to take you down the rest of the way if you don't know how to protect yourself. All right? In Kelowna, we're doing our whole life coach certification on May the 4th. and then we're doing the deep tissue and then the non-surgical. We have 2 spots left in the deep tissue course, and we have 3 spots left in the Whole Life Coach course. And in St. Petersburg, Florida, we'll be there in June the 9th, and we'll be doing 5 weeks of trainings there. You can check that out at itioh.com. Okay, so let's get back to our topic. All right. I want you to think about this. Close your eyes just for a second and think about this. What do you deserve? Seriously, what do you deserve? On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you deserve in life? Okay, you'll know by what you deserve. Take a look around your house. Take a look at the relationships you have with your children. Take a look at the relationships you have with your wife or your husband, and take a look at the relationship you have with your world. Take a look at the relationship you have with your creator. Is it a total loving relationship, or one where your creator is looking down on you and judging you and you're not good enough? Because if that's true, then you're not going to heal good enough. All right? Take a look at the relationship that you have with yourself. How do you talk to yourself? How do you talk to yourself? And do you have trouble going to bed at night? Oh, if you have trouble going to bed at night, you can give me all the physical problems that you think you have, when basically you're not really in love with yourself. You're not really in love with your life because you're not in love with yourself. All right? You terrorize yourself all day, and you don't realize that you're actually running an unconscious hate program for yourself. Now, I don't hate myself. Well, yeah, you do. I mean, you know, you were created by that created the whole universe. And if you can't walk around with a smile on your face, okay, in joy and gratitude to know that you're going to exist forever, and that created you is total love. And if you don't get that part, ooh, you're in trouble. You're in big trouble. So what do you deserve? Take a look around you. Take a look inside of you. Do you deserve total healing? Do you believe that you should have total healing? Anybody out there with a disease right now, you don't believe you deserve total healing, because for the body to heal is not a big deal. Hey, did you get that? For the body to heal, it's not a big deal. Now, you're saying it is. Well, I'm telling you, until you realize that you've been asleep, you're not awake. And the other thing is, it's a big deal to heal if you are the majority, because the majority of the population, they don't deserve much, do they? They deserve what? A 911 health care. That's what they deserve. So what do you deserve? Okay? Do you deserve total healing? Do you believe that the God that created you, you deserve total healing? Or the God that's in your mind, you deserve that you should be punished? Okay? How often, let me ask you a question. How often does your heart feel empty throughout the day? And what does it take to make your heart feel empty? And what does it take to make your heart feel full and beautiful and vibrant? How often does your heart feel broken? And how easy is it to get a broken heart for you? Is your heart broken all the time? Are you always on the edge? Okay. Do you believe that life just doesn't give you love and you get only leftovers? Let me ask you a question. Who do you make responsible for filling you with love? Who do you make responsible? Okay. And if your children, your husband, your wife, okay? Or does life just suck for you? Or do you just feel radiantly full of love? Because guess what? You ready for this? 98% of the population only feel 2% joy throughout the day. That's not really good statistics, is it? Okay? So we got a real problem out here, okay, about honoring and loving and respecting ourselves. So who is responsible to heal you? Is it the medical doctor that isn't a natural health doctor? That a medical doctor is not a health doctor. I hope you know that, okay? Healthcare is not healthcare. So understand that. So who's responsible for actually healing you? Is it the medical doctor and your creator, God? You know, like there was a story of this man. He was sitting at the bottom of a mountain, and another gentleman walked along and said, "What are you doing, sir?" "Oh, I'm sitting here praying. I'm praying." "Oh, okay. I'll leave you alone." A year later, he comes by and he goes, wow, you're still here. You sure I can't help you? And he goes, no, 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 no. I'm praying. What are you praying for? I'm praying that God gets me to the top of the mountain. Understand something. It's teamwork that makes the dream work. And if you're not going to honor, love, and respect yourself, you're not going to get to the top of the mountain. You know, I have people that will come and say to me, if God chooses it, I'll be healed. You know, I'll be healed in God's good time. Okay, all right, fine. Okay, I hear you. Good luck with that. Now, let me say something. You can have a bunch of people praying for you, and faith will heal and move mountains. But will it last? You need to do your part. It's teamwork. Yes, I have faith in my Creator, but I do believe in my healing, and I know that I need to take massive action to get there. So let me ask you a question. Is it healthcare for you, or is it self-care? Because if you believe in healthcare and not self-care, then you're always going to be a 911 emergency. You have a choice to become your own doctor or remain a fool. Did you hear what I just said? You have a choice to become your own doctor or remain a fool. Now, do you know who said that? That was a quote by Hippocrates, the father of medicine, not me. I didn't say it. No, I wouldn't say that. And guess what? If you take a look at the Hippocratic Oath, it used to say, and do no harm, do no harm. It doesn't say that anymore. And guess what? You want to talk about a hypocrite. Holy crap. Hippocrates was one of the greatest doctors that has ever existed. And he was a true doctor. You know, and then the medical system took on the Hippocratic Oath, but they can't even have that anymore because they had to get rid of do no harm. And I'll let you figure out why. Okay? So understand something. Okay, very important. You will either learn to totally love yourself or continue to run unconscious hate programs for yourself. Oh, yes. So, love and healing are a self-serve job. Do you get that? So, are you ready and willing to even take a look at this? To take a good look at healing yourself? Today with me is a whole life coach, a certified whole life coach, and her name is Mary Stupin. She's out of California, and she's loved by not hundreds, but thousands of people because of the work she does. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Dr. Wolfe. Hi, Darrell. How are you?
I'm great.
Thank you for allowing me to be here. This is awesome. I
So,
can't wait.
what do you think about what I just said?
Well, thankfully, I've heard it before. It's such a blessing. I think that when you incorporate the ideas that you're teaching, when you really start to look at yourself, you start to see that there is truth inside of you. Most of the time we look outside to find our truth from somebody else. You know, we're looking for experience. We're looking for somebody to give me a scientific study. But when we start to look inside, that's where we actually start to find the answers. And I learned that from you. And it's extraordinarily important that we start to look inside.
And
So,
that's right. So, everybody out there, you must have questions. So, if you've got questions, call us at 855 900 4544, extension 7. And you can call now if you'd like. So, everybody has a story, okay? And what I want to do is I want to say to everybody, don't become that story. You need to go back and look at the story, look at where the story came from, and look at what the story is comprised of, because that story has made your personality. And if you want to change your reality about healing, then you're going to have to change certain parts of your personality, which means you should go back and take a look at your story, but from a Braveheart point of view, not from a victim point of view. Okay? You know, when I was being raised by my parents, I can tell you this much, and I won't go into it in real deep detail, but the reality is that my parents were really broken, okay? They were broken people, and they loved me the best that they could, you know? But my father, you know, he was a part-time pastor, and he was a carpenter, and his story was that he couldn't wait to be with Jesus. Now, I'm okay with that, but the problem was he was unable to actually show love to us because somewhere when he was younger, he got hurt so badly that he didn't even know how to love us. And you know what? When I was being raised, I actually thought that he didn't love me because I thought he loved maybe my brothers and my mother, but I really didn't think he loved me. And the thing was, is he was incapable of doing it because for him, it was a survival technique not to love someone because he had been hurt so bad when he was younger. And then, you know what? With my parents, they felt like, I think that they were living in fear all the time. And there was a lot of trauma in our family. And, you know, I can remember one time, and I can tell you the exact time that I lost my spirit, okay? I was like about 8 years old, and my parents woke me up about 11 o'clock at night, and we had boarders, and there was like 3 or 4 boarders in the kitchen. And they came out, they pulled my pajamas down. I wasn't even awake yet. And my parents actually spanked me in front of them for breaking a branch off a cherry tree of the neighbors that I didn't do it. I honestly did not do it. And the reality is that I knew that there was something wrong with me because they beat me even though I didn't do something wrong. So I knew that I couldn't trust love. I couldn't trust life. You know, and then when I became a health practitioner, I was more like, bring me your sick, bring me your dying. I need to prove that I will work on anyone and I will do anything to prove my value because I had no value. Was I a nice guy? I think I was. Was I screwed up? Absolutely. But back then I would tell you that I wasn't. I would tell you I had it all together. And you know what? Was I going around hurting other people? No. But I wasn't allowing myself to love myself and honor and respect what the Creator had created and know that I was amazing and I was unlimited. I limited my potential. And when you limit your potential and you don't realize what created you, what you were created for, you have to work 100 times harder to get out of life what you want. That's right. By the time you get what you want in life, if you don't totally love and honor and respect yourself, you're exhausted. I mean, it was just exhausted being me. I don't know, Mary. Why don't you tell me what you think? What are your thoughts? What was your life like?
So I'm sitting here kind of snickering because I remember very clearly being in my mid 20s and I was in an apartment and I had, it was mirrors all, across one wall. And I remember I looked up out of the bed one morning and I saw myself in the mirror and I said, oh no, not you again. I would wake up every day, and one of the things that I've told you is that I truly felt imprisoned in my life. I felt like, certainly that I wasn't worthy to have the things that I even had already, but I felt like I didn't even have the power to achieve. And I used to be a professional classical musician, and I can look back now and know that I chose a life path to prove to myself that I actually could not ever be good enough, even in the profession that I chose. So I was very conflicted and I didn't know how to achieve. I felt like no matter what I did, I could not measure up. And I knew I had to be there for my family, but I felt like I was just going to be in prison the rest of my life. I did not know there was a way out. It was heartbreaking, honestly.
You know what? You're one heck of a good actor because, the day that you walked into my clinic to take the whole life coach certification, okay, not only were you taller than me, which is okay. I love tall, beautiful women. It's okay with me. And I just thought, here's it. She's got it together, So you a big faker, you.
Yeah, I was, that's one of the things that you and I've talked about and that I talk with so many of my clients is the idea of perfectionism, that I was never going to let anybody know that I didn't have it together. That was part of the game, you see. And I think truly that's one of the reasons I felt so imprisoned is that I knew I couldn't climb out of that I had built this wall around myself and I had to keep up the pretenses no matter what.
Guess what?
So Yeah. So that was really difficult for me for many, many years. I don't even remember, I know you said you remembered when you lost your spirit. Darrell, I don't ever remember having one. I felt that way my whole life.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I never even felt like I had accomplished, even though I had done so much. I was an overachiever, but yet I couldn't accomplish.
Did you ever think of committing suicide?
Um, probably down in the deep dark places, yes, I had considered what it would be like if I just weren't here anymore.
Yeah, I
But
know.
I did have so much love for my family. I thought, I can't do this to those around me, that it's unfair to them. So I was just going to stay in this place. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not about anything except wow, I felt the same way. You felt that way. So we know that a lot of people feel this way, except for the person who doesn't want to admit it. Okay. And I got to tell you that the first 10 years in practice, I thought, I hope nobody catches me because I feel like such a phony thinking I can heal people and I can't even get my own act together. You
Yeah.
know? And honestly, that was the truth. I'll tell you, the first 10 years of practice, today it's almost like I can hardly even say it. But, I would do consultations and then run down into this back alley and smoke 2 cigarettes really fast, chew 2 sticks of gum, and then run upstairs, wash my hands, and then go to the next consultation and then tell them how to live. So I understand it, but you know what? It is so great to feel the freedom that it's okay to love myself and totally forgive myself and forgive everyone else and not have any guilt anymore.
Yeah, I'll add to that. One of the interesting things that my clients tell me all the time is when I introduce this concept to them, they say, "Yeah, but I don't believe that. So I'm just supposed to lie to myself." And I said, "You know what? You have to practice it to believe it." So when I first started doing it, I looked at myself in the mirror when I started doing the Braveheart steps, and I thought, this is the silliest thing ever. This is just like a really big lie. But then you realize over time that you really start to soften the subconscious and you start to accept more and more of who you actually are. And the amazing thing is when you start practicing and you start living it, when I walk in the room now, I say, "All right, I'm here. Who's ready to play? Let's go." And it's a completely different lifestyle than where I was when I started the Braveheart and the certifications over 2 years ago. It's quite different then.
Okay, so let's just get this perfectly straight. So you're trying to tell me that you weren't living a lie when you were worthless, but when you were trying to actually try to break through to yourself that you are loved, that you are beautiful, um, that is a lie. So you have to understand that it's not your heart, it's not your spirit telling you that this is silly. It's your subconscious saying this is new and it could kill us.
Right. I was so used to saying, "You're a piece of crap. You don't deserve this," that I actually believed that was the truth. And by saying anything else, I was dishonoring that belief system rather than the one that serves me and engages me in life. Correct.
So, how does it feel to be able to tell when somebody walks into your clinic or even on the phone and you don't even see their face and you know the percentage of how they may make it or never make it to that healing? Okay, because once you learn that the way a person talks, okay, their beliefs are actually going to already add up to whether it's going to be successful or never successful, or they're going to start to feel well, but then they're going to fall back.
So one of the things that I work with mostly women, and one of the things that works really well with them is when you first start this program, is I say you are coming from a place of observation, not judgment. So the first time in your life, you're allowed to be off the hook, and you're just gonna notice what you do for the first time, and that's where you see where the success comes because people say, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea I was doing that." I said, "Right, because now your eyes have been opened."
Yeah,
And that creates so much. Yep.
unless and really everybody, you need to get this out there, whether you're dealing with constipation or cancer or any other disease or illness, mental illness or anything. where the mind goes, the body follows. And you have to understand something. You better mind your own business, and you better understand something else. The mind you have is not yours. Unless you are truly going to go through something like the Braveheart training and really embrace the 12 loving steps and like put your heart into it. If we were to take a look at what we would truly, okay, if I could have anything, if I could feel any way about myself, about the world, and about my life, and I could have anything at all, what would I want? And that's exactly what you can have. As soon as you broaden your mind, okay, and allow that unlimited belief that you deserve. See, it's right back to deserving. Because if you don't deserve, you can pray all day. You can beg all day. But it's never going to happen because you've got to put the right messages out to the universe to get the right answers back.
And, it's so fascinating too. When you talk about, do you deserve to heal? One of the things I see so often is, I call it being married to your illness, that you become that's your identifying factor, is that, hi, I'm Mary and I'm a diabetic. Or, hi, I'm Angela and I'm a cancer survivor, or whatever that may be, whatever that physical illness is that you have. So many times people become so invested in it that they don't realize that that's what they live and breathe all day long. They aren't even realizing that either.
And the other thing is that with a lot of people, take a look at your day, and depending on the amount that you suffer that day, that's the amount of suffering that your subconscious needs to say, yes, I'm alive. Because when we start running a program, because I'll tell you right now, just take a look at your days and you'll see that they really don't change too much, okay? They really won't change until you make the change, but the change is actually, erasing, replacing beliefs. And if you're not going to work on it, like when you want to become a master at anything, you've got to repeat it 10,000 times with passion, with desire, with all your heart, with all your purpose. You've got to take massive action, and you've got to put notes all over the house that I am going to do this no matter what. Because when you start really truly loving yourself, your family thinks you're pulling the love away from them. And they are going to then not do it consciously, but they are going to subconsciously, okay, and unconsciously knock the legs right out of you. And here's the thing. On a mental, physical level, people aren't prepared to get sick. When people get sick in a family, people don't even know how to run the human body. They actually think that a medical doctor is a health doctor. They actually think they don't need to know about their body or feed it. They actually don't even have the reality that having a great poop every day is the best thing you can do for your health. So we have such a problem because when somebody does get sick, especially cancer, because I'm telling you, cancer is just like a tsunami right now. And when somebody gets sick in a family with cancer, what does the whole family do? They panic, they go into fear, they go into doubt, they go into worry, okay? They go into depression. Now, oh yeah, isn't that great? So somebody's got cancer, and now we're gonna have all these people huddling around with fear, doubt, and worry. And then the doctor says, we gotta move now, we gotta move fast. And when he says, statistically, you only have this much long to live. Well, if you pull yourself out of the majority of the population, you're no longer a statistic. So understand something. We have to break the mold that we're not crippled emotionally. We're not crippled physically. We're created by that created the universe. And understand something. The game hasn't even started for the majority. Well, forget the majority. I mean, only 1 out of 10,000 people ever really recognize their full potential on this planet. Okay, because joy should be the word of the day all day long. You shouldn't have to have a reason to smile and to live in gratitude.
So when I first started doing this, you want to talk about like your family and including your family. I just went in full force, and I put those sticky notes everywhere, and I put them in the car, and I have a 14-year-old and an 11-year-old, and we get in the car and we snap our fingers and say, I got this, and my husband did it, and we all got into it. And I realized when I got home and I decided I was going to start doing this just full throttle, I didn't care that there was stuff all over the house. I didn't care if my at that time my 12-year-old son was like, "Mom, you're weird." I was like, "Yes, I am, and it is awesome." And I think that's part of it too, is you have to bring people into you that will embrace you. And if it's not your family members, then it's Dr. Darrell Wolfe that you can call up. It's his support staff. It's your friends. It's your neighbors. It's whoever you can get
It's
to come
Mary
into your life
Stupin.
and help you.
It's
It's
Mary
Mary
Stupin.
Stupin. That's right. It's your support community that you need to find to help you. That's how you do it. Absolutely.
That is how you do it. And you know what? I mean this in the best way, everybody who out there is listening, but I would not want to be in your shoes. I wouldn't want to be in your shoes. And I wouldn't want to be in the shoes of your family, because this whole not deserving thing has totally been orchestrated on purpose. So, it's just like how there's not enough water on the planet. Well, that's not true, because the same amount of water that was here in the beginning is still here. Okay, remember when there was no gasoline back in the, I think it was back in the 70s, 60s? I can't remember, when everybody was lining up at the pumps and there was all types of
1970s.
gasoline.
Yeah, 1970s.
Yeah, and also there's not enough food, but we throw 50% of that out every day. Oh, and there's not enough love. Well, that's because you don't know that you were supposed to love yourself first and foremost and fill up your heart, okay? And I think this is better time than any, here's what I wrote. I am love, I am healed, I am Braveheart. Today and every day, from the moment I rise until I gently close my eyes, I will trust, honor, respect, protect, forgive, and totally love myself, first and foremost, before anyone else or anything else. So help me God. Because I am, I can. I am healed. I am Braveheart. Does anybody really know what that means? That means that you are going to honor and respect that which was created by God, and that you understand that you came down to a life-threatening, fun-filled adventure on planet Earth where everybody cries, lies, and justifies to you. And then by the time that you get here, okay, your two peers are adulterated. They're called your parents. God loved them, okay? All right? When my kids were only 4 years old, my son Sage, I sat him down on a couch and I said, look it, you're going to have a lot of pain and suffering emotionally and physically because of me and your mother. Because we still have a lot of work to do. So when you get physically or emotionally in trouble, come to me with absolutely anything. And my kids did. My kids did drugs, when my kids went to bed with someone, when my kids stole something, when they did something. Because I let them know that I wasn't going to punish them because I stole when I was younger. My father said he was going to give me a dime for allowance. And then it came Saturday and he goes, no, I don't think you deserve the money, and I don't think you would know what to do with a dime. Well, I already had it spent. But you know what? I got to tell you honestly, you know what I did? I knew that there wasn't enough to go around, and that to be a survivor, you remember when they used to have those jugs of milk, 1 gallon jugs, and you get 40 cents for them? Well, guess what? I stole those from the back porch. And I remember one time I stole the jug, went and cashed it in, and I went to see 3 Clint Eastwood movies for 25 cents. And for 10 cents, I got a bag of popcorn, and I had a nickel, and I absolutely had no guilt. And I went to the movie myself because nobody could find out I did it. But see, now, should I have guilt about that? I don't know. I'm not going to. Did I learn my lesson? Yeah, well, that took a long time. But I learned that, you know what? The world is abundant. And what I believe about myself is what I'm going to achieve about myself. So I finally get it. I'm not going to blame my dad because he didn't give me the dime. He actually taught me something. You know what? You got to fail many, many times. I fail every day. You know what? I waste money. I fail with people. You know what? Yesterday, some of our relatives are really uptight about me and really upset with me right now. And I was saying to my partner, Lori, last night, I said, you know what? It's not their fault. I'm the weirdo. I'm the majority. And I'm the terrorist, because how many people are actually like me and talk like me? And I mean, I'm threatening. I mean, you know, if you weren't going to embrace this show or embrace loving yourself, then you'd think, oh my gosh, this guy's just totally selfish. He's teaching selfishness. Well, I'm not. I'm teaching you that you need to be selfish enough to just honor that God-given body. And what's wrong with praising your beauty?
And women don't do that, right? Because if you do that, then you're totally selfish. And people remark to me all the time, you are so self-confident now. And I say absolutely, because I don't look to anybody else to fill me up. I don't need you to tell me that I'm beautiful, because I can look into the mirror and I can look inside myself and say, I know that already. I don't need validation from others. I used to even walk around and tell my husband, oh, you're so good to me. I just really don't deserve you. You will never hear that come out of my mouth again. Not ever. Because it's simply not true. That was me coming from that place of lack. And, I think women are just terrible at this. We just live this life all the time. But, oh, well, don't tell me I'm pretty. Oh, thank you. I know, thank you. I've really been working on myself. It's just not right that we don't see who we actually really are inside.
Let's talk about the pushback, okay? So
Yeah.
remember like a few years ago when you started doing all this work and you started to get your groove, and then all of a sudden your subconscious took all this energy and then just boom, whacked you right in the face. And you thought you had it all, and it threw you right on your keister. And how did that feel? Because you know what? Everybody that does this, you're going to go to the school of hard knocks, because remember something. This is a bit of a lonely journey. Try to get your family to drink the Kool-Aid on self-love and self-confidence and knowing that you deserve it all. They're not going to do it. So Mary, why don't you tell me about that? Can you remember any times when you were going along chuggity chug and you went, oh my gosh, I got this Braveheart thing. I really own this thing. And then all of a sudden you were thrown on your butt.
Yeah, you and I talked at length about this, because, like I said, the support community is everything. And I, of course, have this lifeline to my clients as well. And they come to me with this very thing is you're going along, you think, hey, man, I finally got this. Look at me. I feel good. I look good. Life's great. And then all of a sudden, bam, and you just fall down and you think, oh, yeah, right. Okay, wait, you thought you were good. Yeah, where did that come from? Don't you remember? You didn't get this done today. You didn't get this done today. Your husband didn't like, I don't know, your pants. I don't know, you name it. It doesn't matter what it is. You're going to take that one little thing and you're going to blow that up and you're going to magnify it. And then you're going to say, yep, I remember. I am a jerk. I had forgotten for a minute, but no, what really counts is that I remember that I'm a jerk. And what's so great about the Braveheart way is that, like I said, that observation that you can look and say, no, wait a minute, that was the old me. I've got that. And it allows you to pick yourself back up and say, yeah, that's what that used to feel like. I don't think I like that very much. I'm going to pick myself back up and I'm going to go back on my way. And so that's the big key. That's the difference between what I used to be and what I am now, because I'm certainly not perfect and I still have days. You and I just talked when I just did an 18-day fast, and I called you on day 5 and I said, I'm in so much pain. I don't know how I'm going to get through this. And you said, emotionally, you don't want to let go of that hurt. And I hung up the phone with you and it was gone, because it was all coming from inside, because I was too scared to do the fast. I thought, this is going to be too hard. This is going to hurt too bad. And you just have to pick yourself back up and keep going. And I did. I made it all the way to day 18 and I feel like $1 million. And that's why it's just a matter of understanding the failure and just kind of leaning into it and saying, okay, yeah, that happened because I'm human. And now I'm going to, stand up and try again. That's what that feels like. It's actually a good feeling.
And that's why we need sticky notes to remind ourselves, because remember something, you are just an accumulation of your beliefs, and your disease is just an accumulation of your beliefs. Ooh, that one stings, doesn't it? Your disease is an accumulation of your beliefs, and the practitioner you pick is an accumulation of your beliefs, okay? And so if you have beliefs, then you're going to have a limiting practitioner that is going to limit your healing. So we need to all really truly understand that. But the thing that limits him is his subconscious. The thing that limits you is your subconscious. And his is always going to be limited because he's stuck in a medical paradigm or he's stuck in a health paradigm and he's not going to grow consciously. If you can't find
Right. His
go ahead.
worldview,
That's right. Yeah.
that's what it's all about. Is how does he see things? Because that's what everyone does, is they come from their own worldview. And you have to be understanding and cognizant of what your parents were like and what your upbringing was like, and what are the things I want to keep from that, and what are the things that I want to get rid of. And that's what's amazing about Braveheart. It allows you to do that.
You know, it can be a sunny day. I didn't mean to say bloody. I don't know where that came from. But it can be a sunny day and you can have the most miserable day of your life, you know. You know, so the weather's got nothing to do with it. The weather might add to it. But you want to get to a point in your life and you'll know how much you love yourself by how you react, okay? When a drama or a trauma happens, somebody just passes on. Somebody finds out they have cancer. Somebody got into a car accident. Are you going to stay connected to your breath? Are you going to love yourself enough to know that you don't have to go into total adrenaline shock, cortisol dumping, and totally tear yourself apart in 5 minutes that you feel like crap for 3 days because you went so acidic? So I want to know how it's going to help that person who passed on, the person who found out they had cancer. You going drama is only going to make it worse. And does everybody realize that there is one person, there's usually in every family a heart attack and a cancer victim, and I do mean victim, within 3 to 5 years of a diagnosis of someone else having cancer in the house. So understand, your emotions will rule you, school you, and they'll fool you. So if you don't want to get in touch with your emotions, if you don't want to look and see the belief systems that are undermining your health, undermining your wealth, undermining your day, creating that perfect day, then you're going to have to keep on keeping on. So how's your family doing? How did your family take this? And what do they think of you?
My immediate family has done extraordinarily well. I had, when I first started the program, my daughter, Catherine, at the time, I think she might have been 8 or 9 years old. And she was really good at love ransom. And if you guys don't know what love ransom is, I was the master teacher. In other words, I had a bad day. Guess what? I'm not going to give you my love because I don't deserve any love and you don't deserve to have anything from me. So I'm just going to be quiet and I am going to, stare you through the floor for the next 3 days and refuse to talk to you. I don't even know how my husband the poor thing, he would come home and be like, is this a good day or a bad day? I'm not sure. And I could see my daughter reacting in the same way. So I sat her down when I started working on Braveheart, kind of like you did with your children. And I said, Catherine, there's some things that I learned that aren't serving me and they aren't helping you and they're not helping the family. And it's time for me to make some changes and turn this around. And it's called love ransom. And you're only 8 years old, but I know that you're going to understand this. And I taught her what it meant. And I said, every time we feel this way, we're just going to talk to each other. And we're going to find joy. And we're going to find a solution to the problem. We're going to be in action rather than reaction. And you wouldn't even know she was the same girl today. She's 11 years old. And she'll come home now and say, you know what? So-and-so said that to me, but that's really their problem. It's not mine. I mean, what 11-year-old says that? Most of the time when you get to this age, and my son's this way too, they both internalize this so well, where they just come home and they say, hey, I'm feeling good about my day. This was a great day. And I saw this happen and this happened and this happened. And it didn't bother me. I'm totally good with it. My husband also embraced Braveheart and did it with me. And, we've had a little bit of a rocky road because one of the things that's hard for me as a perfectionist is I want everything to be right now. I was always very impatient and I was unwilling to allow him to grow at his pace sometimes. So I would get frustrated. And I remember talking with you specifically. And I, after I got off the phone, I actually called him and I said, you know what? I have an apology to make to you. You have the right to be who you are. And I have the right to allow that. And he said, don't worry, honey. You aren't going anywhere without me. I'm here. And it was a really touching and beautiful moment for us. Outside of my family, it's interesting. The other parts of, the family unit, the family dynamic, in-laws, grandparents, all these kinds of things, they are a little askance. They don't know what to think about it all. And so there's been some rocky roads there, but I have to just honor and believe in myself and be the light. And they either come to the light or they do what they do. And I have to be accepting of that.
So,
So
how does it feel to actually know that you can totally love yourself without going and burning in hell for it?
it is the most absolute freedom. For those of you that are listening, if you have felt imprisoned in the way that I talked about, when you start to work on this and you start to practice this and you start to do your journaling and you start really living this process, the freedom that comes with it, this grin I have on my face, it's there all the time. I mean, I am joyful. I even had, like Darrell said, I had a friend die of a massive heart attack, 46 years old. I've been friends with him for 25 years. It was heartbreaking. And I could allow that to dissipate from me because I understood that I could not change what happened. And I can use that experience to further my life and other people's lives and make it better. But a year ago, 2 years ago, I would not have been in that place because I still have joy around it. And it seems like crazy because we're meant to suffer. And trust me, I have grief. I have, absolute grief over this. But I'm also in a place where I can smile and say, the sun came up today and look, I have the opportunity to be here. And that's what's amazing is just actually just being happy to be alive. It's a beautiful feeling.
Yeah,
It's fantastic.
we're not talking about not feeling. We're not talking
Mm-mm.
about not feeling the remorse of missing someone. We're talking about every family has been taught different belief systems, and in each family, something can happen. And, well, this is how much we suffer in this family. Yeah, but we suffer this much in this family. Or in some families, you'll see that when something goes wrong or someone's sick, okay, everybody's jockeying for position to show how much suffering they're going to do. So he or she who suffers the most is the most devoted to the family. And that is the family curse. And the hell I'm talking about is the hell that we create for ourselves, thinking, so look at, so it's okay to hate ourselves, right? And hate ourselves a lot, okay? But when it comes to totally loving ourselves, we feel like we're breaking rules. We feel that we're going against it. Well, we are, because the majority of the population doesn't buy into this. And I don't think they're going to. Do you, Mary? Or do you think maybe you
No.
can?
And I still teach community college here in California, and I see so many young people come in and they're totally lost because they are like I was. They were, either utter perfectionists or they have no idea where they're going in their lives because the direction isn't clear because they haven't ever been taught any of these things to actually look inside yourself and believe what's in there. That most of the things that we believe, they're all lies, but no one knows that. You've been handed that. That's the package you've been handed on planet Earth, unfortunately. And when you actually start to be truthful to yourself and you start to live that passion and you actually start to live who you are, people don't understand your power. People say to me all the time, you are so powerful. I can feel it, but I don't understand it. And that's where this, like I said, this starting to look inside and this inner work really matters. It's not just about, well, the doctor told me I had to take this prescription or I have to do this to heal myself. It comes from within. And when you can start to do that work is where things change, but people are afraid to do it. I was afraid to do it, but I finally just stepped into it and said, I'm either going to do this or I'm going to be miserable the rest of my life. And so it created that change within me. But most people don't understand what has happened to me and they're afraid of it. Honestly, I lost all my friends. You guys, I've since actually obviously made new friends, and some of the old people that I used to hang with have actually come full circle in a lot of ways. But at first people will fly away from you as fast as they can get because it's a lack of understanding. They've never been taught it before. Yep.
Yeah, it's puzzling, to think that it's so difficult. It's like, oh my gosh, it's just so difficult to love myself, and what kind of punishment am I going to get if I do this? I've been not loving myself for so long. Oh my gosh, and I understand. You're right. It's very foreign and it's very scary. But, I'm not scared of ever going back to what I used to be, whatever that wasn't my authentic self, because I would never go there, because I now know that I don't relate to pain as living. Okay? I relate to pain as being off balance emotionally and physically and not in line with my spirit, which we know that we're mainly spirit, and that everything is a frequency, and all I'm doing is bringing up my frequency, right? So that's it.
Yeah. And people that have the same belief systems that you do, that have done the work, that are living the same lifestyle that you do, you will find those people. And you used to tell me that. I said, Darrell, I've lost everybody. You said, yeah, because you've changed and they haven't. And other people will show up in your life at the right time. And that's where you have to be patient. Little Miss Perfectionist over here doesn't, she wants everything right now. And so sometimes that patience is one of the biggest lessons that we can learn, because how do we grow? How did I become who I am right now? I had no choice but to be patient with myself and allow myself to grow.
Well,
There was
Mary,
no way to do it.
Mary, the biggest learning for you is the art to love oneself is learning to be with oneself. So there's a clue there. Okay. So if you can't be with yourself, then you know that you don't love yourself. And that's it right there. And people say to me, oh my gosh, she's such a social butterfly. She's always got people and there's always parties going on at her house. And I'm just saying, wow, she is so lonely.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that if you have parties, you're lonely. I didn't say that. I'm just saying that when you have to have your life completely filled up all the time, it's like people, you'll find people, they have to munch and eat all the time. They have to snack all the time. It's because they're trying to keep their mouth busy because they don't want to go into their mind, because the beliefs that have been put in their mind aren't theirs, and they're going crazy. They're going crazy with it,
Or you fill your calendar so full. This was mine. I filled my calendar so full that I had not a single moment to myself every day. Overworked, exhausted all the time. And the accolades I was getting, oh, you work so hard. I could never do all the things that you do all day. Right? It's because I didn't ever want to spend a moment alone with myself, because then I would have to actually own up to how I felt.
Well, you're only having to own up to who you're not.
Right. Right. Because it's
Yeah.
all a lie.
Yeah.
All of it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's that, isn't it the craziest thing, somebody could say something to you at this 1 week moment, and then you go to bed with that and you don't go to sleep that night, and you own it. And because it's the last thing you thought, you wake up with it. And because you wake up with it, you take it through a whole nother day, which means now you go to bed with it and you do that for a few nights, and then you forget about it. But guess what? Your subconscious has it in there in the filing cabinet. And now you've just brought in one more fraudulent what you're not.
And someone gave that to you.
Yes.
That wasn't even your thought. That came from somewhere else, and you thought about it enough and said it enough to yourself and practiced that thought enough that it became part of you. And it didn't even belong to you to begin with.
Yeah, well, it's pretty crazy right now. I mean, food corporations will shove anything in our mouth and they can get away with it because there's no real rules to protect us against what they're making. And then, the whole medical system, pharmaceutical system, and even the natural health system are looking at ways that they can just keep on selling new products and new surgeries and new treatments and new therapies. And, I hit a wall, Mary, about 16 years ago with that, and I just wasn't going to do it anymore. And that's when everything changed for me, and I said, you know what, no more training. We're going to train. And now guess what, I'm going to stop just training professionals. I'm going to train the whole world. All right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's it. Education is the key. That when you start to educate yourself and you start to listen to yourself, I mean, I can't talk enough about this to my clients to say, what is your body telling you? Do you know? Is there any sort of pipeline in there that you can hear this message? Because everything you need to know is already being told to you. You're just not listening because we're not taught how to. Instead, you go to a package and this says all natural. Oh, well, that's fine. I'll eat that. But you have no education about it. You don't actually know.
And to go
And
one step further, let's call it lovecation. Okay. All right.
so,
Let's call it lovecation. And it's a self-serve job. And it's always been a self-serve job. Healing's a self-serve job. Loving is a self-serve job. How does it feel? Okay. How does it feel to own 10% of the love in your heart from you and rely on the world or your wife or your children or your husband to put the other 90% in? Some days they get it right. Some days they're sick. Some days they're off. And when they're off, you know what? When my wife would be off or my kids would be off when I was younger, I'd be, what did I do wrong? Or what's wrong with you? What did I do now? Oh, I love that one. What did I do now? Okay. You didn't fill my heart up today. What did I do now? That's your job. That's why I married you. That's why I go out with you.
I'm telling you, just the look on my husband's face sometimes when he would come home, he would just have no idea. And that's what I said, well, how come he doesn't get me? Why doesn't he know that I need this? And then I would hold that against him. I mean, that's about as bad as you can get. Talk about being in prison. Like he doesn't even know because I won't even communicate with him. Right. And so these things just go on and on with people. And I hear this all the time from people. I don't really know what my wife wants. Well, if your wife needs to answer that question for herself. What do I want? And then she can communicate to you.
Mind your own business.
That's right.
And you know what? Hugs are great, heart to heart. And sometimes words just can't cut it. And sometimes they cut too deep. We've got a caller. So here we go. Hi, caller.
Hey, it's Dean.
Hey, Dean. How you doing?
Hey, Dean.
I'm doing fantastic, Darrell.
How you enjoying the show,
I just
Dean?
finished the deep tissue session.
Oh, you did? So everybody,
Yeah.
just so you know, Dean is a master trainer. And Dean, your clinic is in Georgia, right?
Yes.
Where in
Houston,
Georgia? Where?
Houston.
Houston. Okay. Anyway, so what do you got to say for us, Dean?
Well, I just finished the deep tissue section, and I was working with someone who was had high anxiety, and after 3 sessions, she's had some neck problems, and I've got her on the perfect day, and she's just feeling amazing. 80% improvement in her neck. Her stress is down. She's doing belly button therapy. She's following the guide, and she's asking questions and implementing it into her lifestyle. So it's really amazing.
Isn't it a beautiful thing when you start to get involved with yourself, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. She left all smiles, and she gave her hope. The doctors didn't have any hope for her.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Do you have any other stories you'd like to tell us about patients?
Yeah, I do. I was working on someone, and I just did my 5th treatment on her foot. She had tarsal tunnel, and which is like carpal tunnel for your feet. And the doctors told her there's nothing more they can do for her except live on pain meds for the rest of your life, or we can amputate. And she broke down in tears because on this last session, because she was seriously considering amputation because the pain was so bad. And she's been to physical therapy, and after the last treatment, she had 80% improvement in range of motion and pain relief.
So here's the story. The story is that when somebody tells you to go home, that this is all they can do, no matter what the situation is, what they've just told you is, this is all I know. Now you're going to have to learn how to love yourself and heal yourself and look for a different answer. It's just that we don't hear that. We hear that this is all we can do. There's no more. You know, there's so many more doors, isn't there? Hey, Dean?
Yeah.
Hey, Dean,
Yeah,
can I get you to talk about something?
Hey.
I would love it if you would talk about
hey, Mary.
one of the things that I noticed with deep tissue when I had the work done on myself is emotion. Can you talk a little bit about emotion and healing and what you've noticed as a deep tissue practitioner? It's so important.
It is. And one thing I can tell you is some people are just not ready to deal with the emotion. You know, sometimes people will have one treatment and get some relief and say, I'm not ready to come back just yet because I'm not ready to deal with that emotion. And I've had, you know, work done on myself and working with other people. You've got issues in your tissues. And after having my TMJ worked on, you know, you make sure you speak up for yourself. Don't hold it in. But it's something that I see a release on the chair when we're doing the neck, and some people break down in tears and have a flashback of something they were holding on to, and they're just so happy. They're like, I let it go. I feel so free. And they're ready to have some more work done, and that starts a whole snowball of they're making changes in their life just because they're letting go of that one negative thing that's been bothering them. And I can relate. I can speak of that from myself. When we had my foot done, Darrell and Sage worked on my foot, and I had a lot of emotion released during that session. And I also had a big release, and I felt great. I felt free, and it was amazing that, you know, little boy got to come out and play. And he's never.
What I think is amazing is your journey. You know, everybody out there, Dean is really a hero in my eyes, because if you saw what he was like, okay, and how hard he was on himself, just really hard, lots of edges for himself, not for other people. I mean, Dean, you know, the person, he's just a totally loving person, but you can see that, you know, I mean, you really had to work, didn't you, Dean? But you know what? Look at right now. You're one of the most successful practitioners, body workers, emotional workers, nutritional workers in your state. I mean, come on. And look at when you started, you know, you started a few years ago, and you always wanted to be a practitioner, but didn't know how, and didn't believe that. And when I say this, tell me I'm wrong, but you didn't believe that you would have the time, the money, or the smarts. How am I doing? Am I right or wrong?
100% spot on.
Okay. And guess what, everybody?
I didn't believe I'd be a success.
Well, he's not just a successful practitioner, and not, hey, come on, he's more successful than these practitioners with, you know, I went to school for 10 years, 15 years. You know what? The reality is, let's see the results of what a person does. That's what I am, result oriented. Okay. And the thing is here, there's a practitioner in all of us, and we need to work together. The human race needs to come together and really start helping each other. And, you know, that's what it's all about. I mean, Dean, how's your relationship now with life, the world, with your parents, with your wife? Has it changed?
Well, I'm so glad I came to see you and took your advice, because when I left that course the first time, you had talked to me about booking it again for my wife and myself. And it was the best thing that we could have ever done for our relationship. Totally transformed everything going forward from that day. And it was amazing. And even when I got back from the first time I came to see you, she noticed the change in me, and she kind of just stepped back, didn't say too much, and observed. And I was just working on, you know, being the light and loving myself. And we got to see you that second time, and boom, that changed everything for us. We were able to talk to each other openly about everything. There's, you know, if I don't feel like sharing something at the moment, she's okay with that because she knows we can talk later. And, you know, it's just everybody's seen a difference in me.
And
People I've played in, I'm a musician, I played in bands with for 20 years, can see a difference in me. It's just totally different. Everybody's just, I let go of a lot of anger and a lot of anger towards other people, and just, I let it all go. It feels really good.
And now you're getting prepared to, you know what, everyone? How's this? A guy who couldn't even speak up, and he's starting his own show. Like the show we're doing here today, Dean's starting his own show. Mary is going to be doing her own show. So let me tell you something. The word's getting out, and everybody is waking up.
I will tell you too, this the program, and I know with Dean being here, he can speak to it too. Entrepreneurship and taking control of your own life and your own business is really easy when you're a brave heart warrior. You're not afraid. And that's why people fail. It's because they're afraid. So when you do these loving steps and you work and you do the work, then, you know, the world is your playground. You decide. It's amazing.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, it's amazing how changing from being in construction my whole life to helping people heal themselves has opened up my time in my day how I want it, so I can spend the time with my family as I need to and do what I love to do and help people heal, and then spend time doing what I like to do. So it's really amazing, you know, playing drums or researching things online. So it's really changed everything. It's really amazing.
Yeah, so you quit your job and you found your passion. And believe it or not, we can all do that. And I promise you that the universe will shine on you and give you everything you need. But until you have the faith, you know, your subconscious is not going to allow that in. It's your subconscious says, listen, you got to really want this, okay? Because I'm a scaredy cat. I can't stand the future. I can't stand the present. I only can live in the past. And I'm only going to deal with the past. And guess what? I know that the past is causing you tons of pain all day long, but you're not dead yet. And this new self-love, self-care, entrepreneurial thing that you want to go live your passion and purpose, that's scaring the crap out of us. And we're going to do everything we can to stop it until you can prove to us, your subconscious, that that's what you really want.
Yep, that's it. How many times, Darrell, have you told me, get going, start your business? And how long did I let hesitation get in the way? I'm not good enough. Well,
I think that you're right on schedule, because guess what? If it would have came any quicker, Dean, it wouldn't have lasted. Mary, you're right. You are perfection. You are perfection. You come down here to lose yourself. I mean, come on. Every one of us has totally lost ourselves. We have. We rely on everyone else to give us the love. We're scared of life. We're scared of ourselves. We don't feel safe in ourselves. I mean, the first thing is until you feel safe with you, how can you feel safe with anything else? You can't feel safe with your decision making. You can't feel safe that your body's going to heal. I mean, this is it. But it's only going to last until you deserve it. And I deserve everything. So I am going to get everything. And, you know, somebody might say, oh, you get like that and you're going to get it, Darrell. You want everything? That's selfish. Well, guess what? I was created by God Almighty, and I can have whatever I want, because that's the game. And anybody who's not getting what they want today, they just don't know the rules yet. They don't know the rules.
You know what I hear all the time is somebody's going to take you down with that kind of attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. Instead of, well, somebody might lift you up because of that attitude. No, somebody's going to take you down. You know, it is really fascinating because, yeah, we deserve everything. No doubt.
Happiness is the killer. It's going to kill you. It's going to kill us all. You know, wouldn't want to be too happy, too sure of myself. Wouldn't want to believe in myself. Wouldn't want to create the perfect day every day. Wouldn't want things to go totally sideways and go 3, 2, 1. I got this. I am this. I am a Braveheart warrior. Now I'm going to stay connected to my breath, and I'm going to take loving action and see if I can help everybody else that's falling apart and in crisis right now.
Right, Dean?
Yeah. No, that's right. I mean, you know, follow your passion. You know, what lights your fire? You know, what do you spend your time focusing on in your spare time? You know, I quit my job and had nothing lined up. I just couldn't deal with the stress because the job wasn't good enough for me anymore. And I knew if I focused my intention on where I want to be, it would happen. And I never let those negative thoughts come back in, and I just kept going forward. And my business is booming. I'm starting my show. I'm, you know, doing great and loving every minute of it.
And Dean, why don't you just tell everybody that you are helping us, and you're one of the master trainers at the St. Petersburg training in May, right?
Yes, I'm very excited to go. And that was master trainer. That was something I wanted to complete for myself. The first time I came to see you, I knew right away I wanted to follow through and do the courses 3 times and complete that for myself. As terrified as I was when I came there, because I was so rigid and so judgmental. And, you know, the first time you told me to relax, I was sitting straight up, stiff as a board. I am. I mean, it was just, and now it's just so different. And yeah, I followed what I wanted to do and didn't let up on it.
And how do you love that beautiful Rachel now? Whoa.
Oh my gosh. Oh
Come
my
on.
gosh. You know, we do the couples connection, and you know, our relationship is just amazing. And we're going to be, when she starts doing more of this business with me, she's going to be amazing with it. She really has a passion for wanting to do the coaching, and she's going to come and do the deep tissue as well. I want her to do that too.
It's a beautiful thing, my friend. It's a beautiful thing. Very good. Well, thank you, Dean.
Yep. Thank you.
And
Good
I guess
talking
we'll see you on the practitioners meeting tomorrow afternoon.
Sounds good. Okay. Bye-bye, Mary.
Bye, Dean. See you later.
All right. Bye-bye. Love you both.
Love you, my friend. Thank you. So, you know, as crazy it seems, you know, we want to create a nation of people that really want it all, people that believe they deserve it all, because you can have it all, because you are all of it. You are all of it. And all your personality traits, okay, are they yours? Are they yours? You know, when you hear somebody say, you don't understand me. Well, do you understand yourself? Or you say, this is who I am. Is it really who you are? So understand that, you know, you really got to put the mini you on your shoulder, like Mary said. Eh, Mary?
Absolutely. And if you do have the opportunity to do the trainings with Dr. Wolfe, to come up, I've done the whole life coaching 3 times, and each one was very different and taught me more and more about myself. And I think it's just so valuable. I never once worried. Oh, that was the other thing. I really want to share this with you, Darrell. My husband was the money man for forever. And no, we can't afford that. And oh, we'll never have enough. And this just went on and on and on. And when I started training with you, he never once hesitated to write a check. He never, when we decided to start the business, the online community that I have, never once was money ever an issue, because now we both know that we deserve it. And I'm abundant. I don't ever worry for a second about writing a check, because I know that it's there to benefit me. And by benefiting myself, I will benefit others, period. Totally worth it.
Absolutely. And you know, I don't want to sound really corny here. I don't know how else to say this, but you are totally loved by your God, by your creator. And you know what? I really don't believe that anything's being held back. I believe that you came down on this planet and you've got beliefs that are holding you back, and that's the only thing that's holding you back is your beliefs. And once you embrace this and you understand that you hold the key to set you free, all right? And that when you really want that healing and you believe you deserve it, the whole universe is going to get behind you, okay? We're going to get behind you, okay? Because understand something. You know, what you perceive through the lens of what you see in your life is the love that you have for yourself. You can't give what you're not, okay? And you're never going to get what you don't deserve. So, you know, all I want everyone to understand is this, is that just know that you've always been loved. Have you always been loved by you? Mary, is there anything you'd like to say to our beautiful audience before we say good day?
I want to say thank you so much for listening. Thank you for taking the time for yourself to show up, because that's your first step to success, is knowing that you're worth it. And so that's really just what I want to share with people. You can go from being somebody like me who thought that it was just going to be a life of hell for the rest of my life, to turning it around to I grin all day long. And when I fall down and I make a mistake, I say, man, what a beautiful learning opportunity that was. I learned so much from that. And so it really is a positive step in the right direction to show up for yourself. So I just want to thank you for being here. And I want to thank Darrell and Dr. Wolfe for allowing me to come and share on the show today. Thank you.
Well, Mary, find you. You got to tell them how to go to your website.
Absolutely. So to find me, I run an online community. And like I said, to me, support is everything. And it is called Life in Harmony, lifeinharmony.net. You can find me there. You can ask me questions. You can view courses. You can watch interviews, recipes, learn all about the perfect day. But mostly I'm there to support you in your journey. And so that's where you can find me, lifeinharmony.net.
Beautiful.
Beautiful California.
Yeah. Thank you, Mary. And thank you for joining me on the show today. And I want to thank everybody else for joining me on the show. If you have time, don't forget, tomorrow we're going to do the Truth About Cancer Asian series. We're going to talk to Dr. Tony Jimenez, who traveled 7 countries with Ty Bollinger and his group. And they went from clinic to clinic, doctor to doctor, and talking to the best throughout Asia who are actually curing cancer. 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow morning on Facebook or docofdetoxshow.com or YouTube at Doc of Detox. And I want to wish everyone the best day ever. And what do you deserve? Well, you deserve everything, because you are everything. And just know that you are loved. Have a beautiful day. If you're looking for life-saving and life-changing information, well, you've come to the right place. Don't forget to click and subscribe. Stay connected.